All right, I want to talk a little bit more about the Amber Guyger decision, and also Botham Jean, the man who was murdered. And I want to talk today mostly about the whole hug situation and a lot of the comments that I've been seeing on social media. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. My name is Judson Powell. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I think that, and I want to talk about it mostly from a spiritual standpoint. I don't really want to, get into a whole bunch of, politics, but I want to talk about it from a spiritual standpoint. Remember that this stuff that I'm talking about is scientific and is spiritual. Okay, so now it is a studied and known fact. Okay, and part of this research, it came at the expense of our ancestors and at the expense of Europeans that were put into internment camps during Hitler's administration. And excuse me, what we have discovered, or what was discovered during that time, is that Europeans are primarily left-brained, and that Africans are, for the most part, right-brained. Okay, and so now, what does that mean? It means that our DNA, in our DNA makeup, right, we are more forgiving and more loving and more caring, and we care more about the universe and the planet and all of those things because that's who we are. We are the people of the sun. All right. So the forgiveness thing is not necessarily, it's a natural thing for us. It's not necessarily that we've been indoctrinated or that it's caused by slavery or anything like that. It's just our nature. All right. And so going back to the Kemetic sciences, all right, because we are a right-brained people, all right, we were always more in our nature to be, kinder, gentler, those type of things, as opposed to somebody who is left-brained, who is more analytical, more critical, and then also more aggressive. Okay, it also has to also do with our aggression. Usually we don't bother anybody unless somebody bothers us. And that's what happened even during history through all the takeovers of Kemet, because you had these people that feel like that they have to take over the world, right? And we never felt that way. We have never felt as though we have to take over the world. Think about it. And in all of the atrocities that have been committed throughout history, think about all the major atrocities that have been committed throughout history. Most of them do not contain people who have melanin in their skin, the people of the sun. And that's why in the Kemetic priests, when they put those the netters or the natures. See, people try to say that Kemetic spirituality practice is polytheistic, but it's not. What all of those deities represent is a part of your nature. So every single one of those deities represents a part of your nature. So we always talk about Mayat. Well, with Mayat, the thing about Mayat is that it represents justice. It represents balance. It represents, your morality and what you're supposed to really do when it comes down to other people. So that was always innate inside of us. All right. We as a people have never been mean, cruel, evil. Let's go and let's take over. Even when the Moors civilized the Europeans, the Caucasians, the cave dwellers, all right, they didn't go there to try to take over. They went there to teach them. So think about your nature as opposed to the nature, of Europeans, okay, Greeks, Romans, etc. You have to think about, okay, they are the ones that have always been into the point of, oh, well, we're going to take over, right? We've never been that way. as a people throughout history. All right. And you can go through all the history books, and wherever we went, you know, and now it's being discovered that basically we left Africa and went and had settlements all over the world. The Aborigines, you know, the Mayans, all of these civilizations are melanated people, and even Asia, all of these places are what? They're melanated people. All right. And melanated people are basically right brain. So think about it. We cared about the land, the animals. We look at, that's how come even in the netters on the writings on the walls, we are always pictured as having the nature of certain animals. Why? Because that they observed nature. They observed nature. It wasn't like, oh, we see a bird and so we start to worship and praise the bird. That wasn't it. We were looking at the bird in terms of where does that put us in relationship to the universe? Where does that put us as human beings as relation to the universe? And then here's the thing. The Kemetic priests, they said, or when they wrote those netters or they put them on the walls, what did they say? They said, basically, there are only 4 races of human beings. Of human meaning color, or people with color. There are only 4 races of people with color. And then the Caucasians, they didn't even consider them to be human. And then later on, as we are now finding out, what Elijah Muhammad said was that the story in the Bible, the Genesis story in the Bible, was the creation of what? Of the white race. Because before that, the indigenous people of the earth didn't consider them to be human. So our nature, in order to be able to forgive and to easily forgive people, it's a part of our DNA. It has nothing to do with, you know, even if we had never gone through slavery, we still, just like look at the you know, what we call the Native Americans, right? How were they able to be taken over? Because they trusted the Europeans. The Europeans came in, and then the Europeans, they were like, you know, well, we're going to show you how to hunt, how to build, how to, they learned all of that from the indigenous people of America, of what's now called America. I think it was called Turtle Island or something like that. That's what the natives called it. They called it Turtle Island. They didn't call it, you know, and so then look, and all of these, even the name Africa, the name America, all of these are European based names. They're not our names. We never, you know, I mean, think about it. All of those things basically are what? They're European. And because they came in to take over, and we were always, you know, indigenous people have always been forgiving or have been kind to other people. So we never came in, you know, even the concept. That's why I was trying to explain to y'all when I was doing those things about Genesis and showing you, look, this is where this spiritual concept, see, because everything has to do with spiritual concepts or spirituality in general. So when you release a certain spirit into the earth, it's there. It's not going anywhere. And certain people are going to pick it up and certain people are going to use it. All right. So our level of forgiveness is high. So that's why they were able to hug those people or give them a Bible and tell them about, you know, regardless of if they gave them a Bible and they were trying to tell them about Jesus or whatever they were telling them about, it still was out of kindness and out of love. Because out of the 13, right, so you have the 13 universal laws. Well, the first universal law is love. All right. And even in Mayat, our spiritual science tells us what? Mayat tells us that if somebody has done something that's wrong, that means that what? That they're out of balance. And so Mayat always taught what? To get that person back in balance. Mayat was never about punishment. It wasn't about punishment. See, our justice system, the justice system that we have now, is about punishment, because everybody, is calling for, oh, well, how come she only got 10 years? She should have got the death penalty. She should have got life. She should have got this, that, and the other thing. But see, we were never like that. In fact, and even if you want to go back to scripture and you talk about scripture, go back and read the laws in Leviticus. Right? Everybody always talking about the Bible and how much they read the Bible. Well, if you read the Bible, murderers never went to jail. They didn't. They went to cities of refuge. Go read the Bible. They went to cities of refuge. And if you weren't caught within a certain amount of time, you went scot-free. So, and even in those cities of refuge, you were not put in a cell. You were not, guarded 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you could make atonement. If you made enough sacrifices, you could make atonement. See, so that's what I'm trying to say. There has never until the Caucasian was brought out of the cave. These different types of heinous crimes and everything else did not exist. They did not exist. You can go through all the hieroglyphs and all the papyrus you want, and you will not find a place where a black man or woman harmed another black man or woman. All of those pictures that you see is when other people invaded us. The Indians didn't kill, just like they show the Indians, for lack of I'm just using that term, but with no disrespect to natives. But in the movies, the Indians were what? They were evil, killers, savages. Woo, 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 woo. They ride across, they're on the horses with bows and arrows, and they shoot, y'all played cowboys and Indians when y'all were little. Some of y'all, I know everybody's not as old as me, but I'm telling you, Don't get caught up in the hype and in the propaganda. It is in our nature to be forgiving. That's our nature. It was our nature before slavery, and it will be our nature after slavery. So you can't really say. And then the other thing is, go read, like in the Proverbs, which were written by the Egyptian priests, right? The Proverbs say, do not envy your oppressor, and don't take any of his ways. And that was written by Africans. That was not written by Europeans. That's in the Netters. That's not a European concept. That's written by an Egyptian priest. All right. It may not, but it's wisdom, right? Do not envy your oppressor and take none of his ways. So when y'all running around here talking about, yeah, if they murdered my relative, I wouldn't give them no mercy. I wouldn't give them no that. Well, who are you imitating? Who do you envy? Who do you want to be like? Do you want to be like the children of the son of Ra that we really are? That's why you got that melanin. Right? Or do you want to be like your oppressor? So I'm not convicting anybody or saying anything. I'm just saying, think about it and know what your true nature is. What is your true nature? What is the true nature of melanated people? And yeah, it allows us to get taken advantage of. I'm not saying it doesn't, at every situation, but it's not a problem that we got to correct. It's a problem that they have. It's not our problem, because we're kind and loving and caring people. Like I said, the Indians they got here and they were like, oh, these are people. They looked at them as people, as human beings. And we did the same thing. We fed their children, cared for their children, nurtured their children, taught them how to cook, taught them how to build shelters and everything. They didn't have, look, them cave dwellers didn't have them skills. We taught them everything. They were dying of disease. That's why it's illegal or in the scriptures to eat pork. It ain't because pork is bad. It's because they didn't know how to cook pork. I mean, I can go through that and I can explain that to all y'all people running around, but it's not in our nature to be unforgiving. It just is not. Anyway, gotta go. Press the like button, press the subscribe button, press the share button. Every button, just press it. I love you.